Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing the anime called Blue Gender. I actually saw a trailer for this show when I was about 10 years old on either a Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho VHS, and I never got to watch it until about 2004. I bought the box set, and it is still one of my top 5 favorite animes today. I know a lot of people don't like this show, and that's the main reason why I'm reviewing it. The story is about a guy named Yuji Kaido. He suffers from some mysterious illness and is put into a deep sleep in 2009 until a cure is found. But when he's woken up in 2031, he finds the world he knew was gone. Everything's destroyed, and lots of people are dead. And the planet is being overpowered by these giant insects called the Blue. He meets a girl named Marlene Angel and others from a space station called Second Earth, and her mission is to take all the sleepers back to the space station. When they actually get to the space station, Marlene and Yuji are separated. She rebels and is bent on finding Yuji. When she does find him, she finds that he's being trained for a new specialized battle suit, which is much stronger than the other mecha suits that they use in the beginning of the show. It is discovered also that the illness that affected Yuji is the key to help destroying the Blue and taking back the planet. He and other sleepers have B cells, which are also the genetic makeup of the Blue. Yuji and Marlene return to Earth with two other sleepers named Tony and Alicia. They become successful at destroying a few of the largest nests before they head back to Second Earth. However, the battles begin to have an effect on Yuji, which concerns Marlene. Marlene learns the nature of the illness that put Yuji in his sleep mode, the source of his abilities, and the source of the Blue. They are a defense mechanism enacted by the Earth to purge the existence of humanity, and the B cells that exist in the sleeper could become a potential threat to humanity as well. Marlene heads down to Earth in search of Yuji, but when she finds him, his B cells are already beginning to activate and he begins to go berserk. After struggling and fighting with him, Marlene is finally able to get through to Yuji and help him overcome his madness. When Yuji and Marlene return to Second Earth, they find that Tony plans to ram the medical station into the military station, which would therefore destroy the heart of Second Earth. He sees this as the grand will of the Earth in which he will become a messiah and cleanse the planet of humanity forever. However, Yuji and Marlene and a group of other soldiers infiltrate the station and manage to free Alicia and confront and eliminate Tony. Yuji decides to return to Earth once and for all and find out what the Earth's will actually is. After learning about the new migration pattern of the Blue, Yuji and Marlene take a group of volunteers and head to an area where the massive nest is located. There they find a group of humans who seem to be surviving in the area, and the nest seems impenetrable at first. But when they eventually find the entrance, with the help of the local people, a huge Blue is birthed and kills everyone except Yuji and Marlene. Yuji kills it and comes to the conclusion this is where he will find the answers he seeks. He sends Marlene, who is pregnant with their child, away to the surface to wait for him. He then gets a vision of of the Earth itself. Yuji comes to understand how mankind can live alongside the B cells and returns to Marlene. Alright, well that's just a basic little overview of everything Blue Gender episode 1 through 26. On to the character analysis. The only two characters I'm going to be actually talking about are Yuji and Marlene. And that's mostly because the one thing that I don't like about this show is how they kill everyone. Anytime you get close to a character, you're like, oh man, I'm really starting to feel good with this character. They kill them or they send them away somewhere. It's very annoying. You never know what's happening next with these people. You don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, well, they'll probably come back because they didn't actually die. But nope, you just never see them again. So you don't even know. It's all these loose ends. Alright, so first you have Yuji. He's the sleeper. He actually reminds me of Shinji Ikari from Evangelion. He's just a little bitch. At least until about episode 14, until he starts to go, berserk and everything, but even then, all he does is complains. He doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to die, I mustn't run away, kind of deal. Then in the second part, when he does go berserk, he becomes like an anti-hero, and that also reminds me greatly of, Shinji. He's a hero and an anti-hero. He becomes obsessed with killing the Blue, and he forgets why he started fighting in the first place. He forgets his humanity. In the beginning, Yuji was very upset at Marlene all the time for not wanting to protect the people, just killing the blue kind of deal. He hated that, and in a sense, he becomes like her. Once Marlene frees him of his madness, though, he kind of goes to being a good combination, where he's a good fighter, and he knows he needs to kill the blue, but he has, a heart now as well. Then you have Marlene Angel, who in the beginning has the pure personality of a robot. She's very monotone, doesn't really, say much, she's kind of a bitch. Her personality, though, starts to change when it ends up being simply her and Yuji, because at the beginning of the show, there's about 5 or 6 other characters, and they're all killed off within 3 episodes. It's crazy. And once it's just the 2 of them, pretty much alone, trying to get to the space station to, to do whatever, she starts to open up a little bit, not acting as, badass, I guess. But, honestly, there's nothing really much to her. Her and Yuji almost swap roles when he starts, acting like, possessed and everything like that. She's all like, oh, and then she's like, oh, people. She starts caring all of a sudden. But, honestly, she's whatever the plot needs to be. She's always the opposite of what Yuji is until about the end when they're about the same. So, in that fact, I really don't care for the character of Marlene, just simply for the fact that she's just opposite of what Yuji is most of the time. Alright, now we're going to get on to the weird stuff. So, the one thing that always bugged me about Blue Gender is that there's a lot of sex in this show. Not like full-blown hentai or anything like that, just a lot of like suggestive scenes. And most of it isn't even necessary. If it was at least somewhat, relevant to what's going on, it would be fine. Like, there's a scene later in the series where Yuji and Marlene have sex. Okay, this is fine because, it shows them finally getting together, being a couple, whatever. It's totally cool with me, but they're all a little graphic with it. There's touching and, it's just a little, it's not something you'd want to watch with your parents, honestly. It would have been the scene to me, which would have been just as effective if they would have done it, like, earlier in this series. Yuji has sex with a girl named Elena, and the two pretty much, the scene goes down, like, the two, are by a fire, it's nighttime, they look at each other, they start to kiss, like, the scene goes up into the moonlight, or whatever, and, you know what that means, and it's fine, and it does what it needed to do, but there's one episode where Yuji and Alicia are going into this one section of the space station, because Alicia wants to show Yuji the sunrise, and, that's fine and everything, but there's people having sex everywhere. I mean, you see girls riding guys, and, I mean, literally, sex everywhere. You can't escape from it. It's terrible. And it's just not necessary at all. And on that note, I do want to talk about the blue. I never could decide that if it was some sort of, like, symbolism, or if I just had my mind in the gutter, but their mouths, or cores, as I call them, all resemble vaginas. And their nests all are dicks. I'm not going to go any further into that. You can watch it and decide it for yourself. I don't know, and I don't care to find out, honestly. Now, the music. This show has some of my favorite scores in it of all time. It always matches the mood perfectly. There's no doubt about it that the music in this show is unlike anything else I've really ever heard before. The theme and the ending are really catchy, and they blow me away every time I hear them. I automatically just think of this show and everything about it, The beginning gets you really pumped up, like you're gonna go fight, and the ending kind of you're like, oh, well, everything's destroyed kind of deal. It really brings you down. It's just great, and even in the English version, they're awesome. All in all, Blue Gender is really worth checking out. Everyone likes an apocalypse once in a while, but, if you're not into it at first, don't get discouraged. Just try to get through halfway before you make up your mind. Thanks for listening, and enjoy Blue Gender. Bye.